What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we have the S2000. If you guys did not check out my previous video, we took this car out to the track for the first time. I bought this car a few months ago, well, last summer. Crashed, front end collision, had a lot of damage up in the front, a bent lower control arm, just super destroyed car. You can see some of those videos if you want to see the condition it was in. Even the interior, just a really destroyed car. We've put a lot of work into it, even though it doesn't look like it, but we did a lot of work to it. New coilovers, whole bunch of stuff, brakes, brake pads, stainless steel brake lines, fluids, everything. All the basic stuff, new sway bar for the front. Anyways, we took it out to the track. It did good. There was 3 major issues. The first one being there was a misfire my third session out. It was cutting out under throttle. I had someone look at it that was there. There was a lot of S2000 guys there at Bud and Willow. Thankfully, they helped me out. They told me right away, you have a misfire. Since I have new spark plugs, it was like coil packs, which I didn't change. I should have changed them, but I didn't. So we got all new Denso coil packs in there, all 4 of them. That issue's fixed. The car's running great now. I'm pretty sure it's had a misfire since I bought it. Not a crazy one, but a slight misfire, just because of my fuel economy, and it's just running a little bit faster. There are no red flags ever popped up in my head that it could have a misfire, and so I went to the track, so kind of exposed that. And that's why we went. It was pretty much a shakedown to see what we need to do next before I just start throwing mods at it randomly. So all new coil packs. The other issue we're having at the track was I was having a lot of traction issues. One of those being I already knew was these tires I have all season, pretty much like Achilles tires, which aren't like nothing crazy. This is like, they make drift tires, but that's about it. So they're just all Achilles 245 square tires. So I was having a lot of traction issues, and the other one was I had my neighbor, he's got a Camaro SS. Anyways, we had stock alignment, so no camber. The reason I did that is I wanted to make sure the car was running straight, driving straight pretty much, before I started messing with alignment and stuff like that. I wanted to make sure everything was good since we did change that lower control arm, and I wanted to make sure anything else was messed up. We have phase 2 motor trend, or P2M, upper front and rear control arms adjustable. So we're gonna be able to dial in that camber at the track whenever I go. I'm also gonna be getting with these a camber tool. I think SPC or SPL sells a camber. Pretty much it can read the camber on your wheel, so you can dial them in individually and set it to how you want. So I'll be able to go from a negative camber when I get to the track, and then once I get back home, because I do drive this a lot to work, I can reset it back to 0 camber. It's just gonna let me go ahead and dial in the camber myself, and everything else shouldn't change because I'm not messing with like the bolts on the car that adjust alignment. So everything else should stay relatively the same. So we should be good. But anyways, let's go ahead and check these out, and then we'll go ahead and get them on the car. The next thing after this we'll be doing too, which was the 3rd issue I was having, is those tires. So I have another track day coming up April 8th or 9th, I believe. And we're gonna go ahead and get some 200 tread wear. All right, guys, here we have the front upper control arms. These are from phase 2 Motorsports or Motor Trend P2M. I looked up quite a bit of different ones. This is like right in that middle price range, so I felt comfortable getting these. And so far they seem to be really nice quality. These front ones were about like $270 to like $300 for the front ones alone. The other brands, like even the Megan ones, or Megan, K-Sport, I forgot who else makes them, K-Tuned. Those are about like $500 just for the front, so they can get pretty expensive. These were, like I said, like $280, and you can see that you have the adjustment points right here, and you just loosen these up, and you can bring it. If you bring it in towards the car, it's gonna bring that front wheel up inward, and then it's gonna create more camber. You bring it out, and you can dial it in that way, which is nice. And then the mounting points are actually solid, so they're solid mounts instead of the like rubber bushings. So that's the other nice thing. The control arms in my car right now are 20-something years old, 21, 22 years old, so they're pretty bad. So here we're gonna have new ones. Even this part here is solid, versus on the car it has, I think, rubber here, and it's pretty worn out. So this is gonna be a lot nicer than what's in there, and we're gonna have all that adjustability. But they look really good. The welds look solid. There's no ugly welds. It looks pretty solid, honestly. But yeah, the biggest question is gonna be is if it's gonna move, pretty much. Like if I go up on a berm or something at the track, is it gonna throw this off? So that's something we'll find out while we're out there, and then I'll report back to you guys if I have any issues. But they look good. This is the left side, and then It's all nicely packaged too. It comes with the cotter pins. No instructions, but this is really straightforward. It's literally 3 mounting points. So really easy to install. Here's the other one here. You can see you can adjust it right here. Just move it in and out. You just have to have something to be able to read what point you're at. So we're gonna be getting that camber and caster reading tool. It's pretty much like a level that reads where it's at, and then I'll be able to dial it in like that. But for now, when we install these, we're gonna match the length from the point from here to here to the stock ones, because I know the alignment's good already. So we're gonna try to get as close as possible, so we don't throw the alignment too off, and then from there we'll adjust as we need to. It's gonna be super nice with these that I won't have to get alignment every single time I go from the track and off the track, because just that alone is like, man, almost $300, probably like $260 for every time I want to go to the track. That's a lot. Where I just buy these once and I'm able to adjust it, and then once in a while I'll probably end up getting alignment anyways, just to make sure it's still good. So these are the fronts. Move those out of the way. We'll go ahead and check out the rears. I mean, packaging's nice. It's black. There is 2 different bushing sizes, because the AP1 and AP2 I guess are different for the rear upper control arms. So one on here says AP1, nicely labeled, so that's nice, and then this one's the AP2, so you know which ones to go with. These are a little bit longer. And then you have the actual, I guess the front of it, the part that goes to the knuckle. And it is metal under, but it has like a rubber cover, which is kind of nice actually. It has a nice rubber cover over it just to make it last longer, I guess, or just keep it clean. And then you have your adjustable nut on here, cotter pins. This stuff's really nicely packaged. Not that it would get damaged, honestly. These are like solid metal. So again, really nice. I like the blue, even though you won't see it. I'm a big fan of the blue, and you can see the brand right here, P2M Phase 2 Motor Trend. It's marked with the left side right here, so left and right are slightly different. Again, really clean welds. Looks really nice. That's a big, usually you can tell like the quality of a product by the welds. So these are really clean, really smooth. And you can see the solid, there's solid, I guess, bushings in here. Again. And then this part here, you're just gonna thread it in there. And then that's how you're able to adjust the upper, the camber on the rear. Because with this, it's gonna bring the wheel in or out the top of it, creating more camber, or just adjusting it that way. And then you just have these locking nuts, so you lock it in place. So that's it. So we're gonna go ahead and also, when we take out the OEM ones, the stock ones, we're gonna try to match the lengths. That way it's pretty set to 0. And then with these here, I'll just open these up real quick. And then with these here, they just go in here like that. So one on each side, just like that. And this, I guess, allows it to move when the suspension is moving. It gives it room to like move around. One other thing we did too since the last track day is I added this CR style front lip. It's from Basin R. I've got products from them before in the past for previous cars, and they make really good quality products. They're like a nice polyurethane, so they're not fiberglass. I really hate fiberglass, so it feels just like the same material as like the OEM bumper, which is nice. And the fitment is solid. It's not painted yet, then that's because I'm going to be doing a color change on this car, so I'm going to wait to paint it. It doesn't look bad right now in black, so we're going to be doing a color change very shortly on this car. That'll be in later videos. But anyways, let's go ahead and do what we're here to do, and that is switch out these control arms. So we're gonna jack the car up and then pull out the old ones, and I'll show you guys part of that process. It won't be like a step-by-step, but I'll just show you kind of the process. All right, so we got the car up on jacks, the wheels off. I'll show you guys real quick what we gotta do. So here are the upper control arms, and you can see obviously these aren't adjustable. It's got this rubber mount that's freaking shot. It's like split in half. The car's 2002, so it's been on there for a lot of years, 20 years, and these are probably messed up too. So we're just gonna go ahead and get a whole new system, which is gonna be nice. All we have to do is, this one has a cotter pin on the nut, take it off, unscrew the nut, get these unnutted too. Unnutted, that's a funny word. So get these two unnutted. Hopefully they come out nicely. They probably have never been taken off since the car was made, so hopefully it comes out good. We got a little PB blast if not. Here you can see my the Megan sway bar. I think it's a 32mm sway bar, and I just have it on the softer setting. It has two different settings. I have it on the softer setting, and then the stock sway bar in the rear. From all the forums I read, everyone says you want to go heavier on the front and either keep stock or no sway bar in the rear. So, yep. And we got our stainless steel brake lines too. If you guys, I haven't shown you guys that too, with BC Racing coilovers. It's got new ball joints under. I'll show you that, but yeah. So getting there. Car's pretty stock other than that though. Power stop brake pads, track pads, new rotors, fairly new rotors. So, and as far as the rear, grab my light real quick. As far as the rear, pretty same setup. Got a bolt here with the nut with the cotter pin right there. I'm trying to show you guys with the light, but the camera's blocking the light. So same thing, and then unscrew these nuts from here. Hopefully they come out nicely. And we'll get this in there too and try to line them up the best we can to the same length, so that when we put in the new ones, the camber is roughly about the same. I'll be getting the tool in a few days. I ordered it online. It takes a few days to get here, so we'll get that done. BC Racing right there. I could probably go a little bit lower on the car, but one step at a time. I think I'm trying to get this set up, and then plus I'm gonna get Meteor tires. They're gonna be 255 40s instead of these 245 40s. Here you can see the tread pattern. They're just all season. They're not even like summer tires. We got everything out. I just had to make sure I removed I think this is the e-brake line. So I had to make sure I removed that brake line from, it was bolted up to the upper control arm, so I took that off. The only issue I had was I had a hard time getting it up to this point right here, but I just hit the crap out of it with a hammer since that one's going in the trash. So it's all out, pretty simple. I'll probably just have to zip tie this onto the new one because it doesn't have any mounting points. You guys, the rear right here, same thing, super straightforward. Just hit the top part right here with the hammer, hit the control arm itself, popped it right out. Also had this line here that I took off the bolts for, just two 10mm bolts. So we'll also zip tie to the new one. Here they are, old crusties right here, new ones, and then same with the rears right here. So what I was mentioning is I'm gonna try to line these up as best I can. What I mean by that is like put it on top of each other pretty much and get the bolt to sit pretty much where the other bolt was. Just try to get as close as possible. I'll be able to for sure tell where angle it's at, like what percentage of camber, negative camber I'm at once I get the tool in a few days. So we'll go ahead and get these in. Same with this one. I can already tell just by looking at it, this one's gonna have to go forward to be even, which is nice because it's gonna give us all this room to go backwards. I'll show you guys once they're all in. Pretty straightforward, like I said. Another little update. So I don't know if I showed you guys this already, but this is all in. I went ahead and zip tied that brake line up there. I adjusted it to where I thought it was pretty even to the old one. So the OEM, the camber I had should be pretty close, but I won't know until I get my gauge and I'll find out and we'll adjust from there. But looks really good. I mean, it's solid. I don't think I'll feel anything just from like driving. The only difference really is like the solid mounts back there, the joints. So I don't know if you'll really notice something from that, but we also got the rear put in. So the rear is all done. Really straightforward, really simple. Everything was really easy to line up. So fitment was like spot on. I didn't have issues lining up all the bolts. So it looks really good. That's about it. I mean, I adjusted it also to where I thought it was. And there's still more room to go back. And the more in we go, the more camber we'll get. Same thing with this brake line back here. Zip tied it. Looks really good. I mean, other than that, I don't know. I think we won't know until we drive it, but everything's looking solid. So cannot wait to get this all in and see how the car handles with actual camber, because I haven't driven it with any camber, so I want to see how it handles. All right, so it's a few days later and give you guys an update on the S2000 with all the new control arms. As you can see, it's all put back together. I've actually been driving it for the last 4 or 5 days to work. I have like a 60-mile round trip to work, mostly freeway, and the car is driving great. It's driving straight. I don't know if the camber is all even. I haven't adjusted it yet, but it's driving great, so that's a good sign. It drives perfectly straight. It feels really good. I'm pretty excited. I cannot wait to go back out on track. here in a few weeks. But let's go on to the tool that I'm going to be using to kind of check the camber and give me the ability to change the camber myself. That's something I'll be doing before I go to the track. I'll be adding like negative camber all around and then adjusting that at the track if I want, which is nice. And then when I get back home and I go back to daily driving, I can just straighten it out to like a -1 or just a 0, whatever I feel like doing. So that's the awesome thing with these control arms. Anyways, like I had mentioned to you guys, I was gonna buy a tool, but I ended up making my own tool. You guys can kind of see right here. They sell a tool similar to this. It looks very similar, but it'll read the angle of camber that you have, and it's about $170. And I made my own tool for about 50 bucks. I ordered this on Amazon. It's an angle gauge, and it's magnetic on all sides. And then I got this steel right here, and then I cut it down to size using an angle grinder, and then I drilled 2 holes that lined up with this lip right here on the wheel. And then I put 2 bolts that are exactly the same length. I double checked to make sure they were the same length. And all you do is you're gonna hold it up like this. Try to hold it up as straight as possible. Just like that, and then you should be able to read your angle or camber. So pretty simple tool to make. It should work. It might be like a little inaccurate, but as long as it reads both sides evenly, like say it's off by like ½ degree, as long as it's reading both sides off by ½ degree, that's fine, because I'll be adjusting depending on how the car feels. So that's not really a big deal. So, and then I'll kind of show you guys real quick. So you want to put it on the ground in front of the car, in front of the wheel, and you zero it out. And then we can go ahead and stick it on here. And then you just hold it up to the car. And we're at about 2.2. Yeah, so we're reading about 2.2 degrees of camber, which seems about right. I don't know if you guys can tell, but the wheel's slightly in on the top part, so it seems about right. So I guesstimated when I put these back on, I kind of just measured to the stock ones to try to get them roughly as best I could. But using this tool, I'll be able to jack up the car, pull the wheel off, and then adjust the slider. The only thing that it'll take some time. It'll get faster as I adjust them more, but it's figuring out where the 0 is. So if I want to get it to 0 degrees, I'll bring it out a little bit and I'll have to put the wheel back on, lower it back down, and measure again, and keep doing that until I get it to 0. But then I'll be able to mark the slider with either tape or a marker or something that shows where the 0's at. So that is the nice thing. And then same thing with figuring out where like 3.5 is, and kind of just give me a reference point. Same thing with the rears, but that tool should work out great. The next thing we're gonna be doing to the S2000 is gonna be some tires before we go to the track. That'll be about it. All the fluids, everything is fresh, so we won't have to worry about that. But just some new tires, some 200 treadwear tires, and then we'll be hitting the track. I'm really excited for that. Try to get one more track in before it gets hot. But yeah, the car is driving great. Like I said, actually, I don't know if it's placebo, but I feel like my steering is a little stiffer and the steering response is better, which I really am enjoying, because I did feel like the steering had some slack in it. Just driving, there was like a little bit of lag in between turning, and I felt like it was just maybe because old steering rack, I don't know. So, but putting in these new control arms, I don't know if it's a solid mount or it's just in my head, but it feels a lot more direct and like instant, which I really am enjoying. That's like a huge plus side. Or I don't know if maybe it's like the added camber that it has over what it was before. Not sure, but it feels really good. I'm really happy with these control arms. We'll find out. I'm not worried about the rears, but the fronts, the biggest issue that I can see happening is if the sliders adjust on track, but hopefully that's not an issue. I reached out to the company and they told me the torque specs, so we shouldn't have any issues. I'll report back to you guys if I have any problems, but all together, everything is coming out great. Next video is probably gonna be on this right here. This is a new lip for the BMW. As you can see, there's 2 of them. These are Lapter lips. I believe it's pronounced Lapter, from Japan. So we're gonna be painting, prepping, doing all this stuff. We're gonna be painting them ourselves, paint matching to the Alpine white of the BMW. But if you guys wanna check that video out, make sure you guys subscribe if you're not, and show you guys the process and how it looks. But thank you guys for checking out this video. Everything is coming along great. I appreciate you guys checking it out. Make sure you guys hit that like button, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.